Virtual EMDR.
Hello everybody, my name is Roberto E. I'm a registered nurse out here in New York City, and I wanted to share my experience with Virtual EMDR. I was diagnosed with PTSD earlier this year, 2021. I worked throughout the pandemic as a nurse in one of the hospitals out here in New York City. We were one of the hospitals hit the hardest in Queens, New York. We really did not expect to see what we saw as nurses. A lot of nurses ended up being very traumatized from our experience of seeing what our patients were going through. 2021, in January, I ended up getting COVID myself. I ended up going into the intensive care unit and needed some really careful, close eyes on me. And I just remember I started getting these flashbacks of all the patients, of all the hands I held, all the patients, all the experiences and the struggles I've seen when I was with them. And it was very traumatizing. This is when I had to see a psychiatrist, and I was diagnosed with PTSD. And I never had this. I didn't know what was going on. I couldn't sleep in the middle of the night. I would wake up sweating, and there was this underlying anxiety and just remembering of this horrible trauma.
Why did you decide to try Virtual EMDR?
I was really having a trouble functioning in my everyday life because of the PTSD. So I looked up a therapist, and I remember the therapy in New York City out here, to get a good therapist was around $150 to $300 for EMDR per session, and that was not sustainable. I knew that long term, even if it did work, how can I sustain that? So I found something called Virtual EMDR.
How was your experience with Virtual EMDR?
After that one session, I became a believer because my anxiety went from a 910 to a 310. And I've tried CBT and I've tried different other tools before I did Virtual EMDR. And my anxiety would drop maybe from a 910 to a 810, 710 on a good day. So I had such dramatic, profound effects. I said, this is crazy. So the first week I did 3 sessions, and it wasn't easy. I just want to say it wasn't easy. You have to process and bring back that trauma. So it wasn't an easy thing to do, but it was worth it, absolutely worth it. My anxiety right after the session dropped tremendously, that I was able to function after that. What surprised me about Virtual EMDR was that it worked. It's extremely simple. And, you know, like I said before, my idea was that I would have to sit with some sort of therapist and I would have to go through, you know, months before I can get any relief from my PTSD. But it was amazing how simple the program is and how effective it was.
What do you like best about Virtual EMDR?
You know, the beautiful benefits of Virtual EMDR is that, one, it's sustainable because you're saving so much money, right? So it's, one, sustainable. 2, it's virtual. So you don't rely on going to someone's office. You don't rely on anybody else. You are on the computer. You open the website up, you sign in, and you answer a few questions, and you get your Virtual EMDR session going. And it's that easy.
Would you recommend Virtual EMDR to others?
The message I would have for people that are struggling specifically with PTSD, anybody, especially those that, you know, have gone through a traumatizing experience in their life in the past, or a traumatizing experience. I know a lot of nurses after the pandemic and doctors that now have PTSD. So my message would be, please give Virtual EMDR a shot. Try it out. You don't have much to lose.
Thank you for sharing. Try Virtual EMDR for free today and feel better instantly.